If a wife had the complete package like Tom Brady, Brad Pitt, or Johnny Depp, do you think they would become bored or find something else to complain about? Probably, yeah, to be honest. But I mean, again, there's another issue with human nature. Probably. But there's another issue with human nature here, which is, you know, what can you say? I mean, like, long-term relationships are difficult anyway, right?
Are we ever content?
I'm sorry?
I said, are we ever content as humans?
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, what was I reading about this the other day? But, well, actually, no, it was a video by somebody else, and he was basically, it was kind of what I was referring to before. If you look at hypergamy, it's like, okay, he's ticking these boxes. Okay, Johnny Depp, yeah, he's fucking multimillionaire, he's an actor, he's real well famous, blah, blah, blah. But he's not young anymore. Look at this young bloke over here. He's got that youthful energy about him. Like, Johnny Depp just wants to go home. Like, I think actually Amber Heard was complaining about Johnny. Oh, you're boring. You know, you just want to fucking play shit music with your friends. Like, I want to go out and party, right? So there's always going to be something that's missing, even if you're the fucking elite tier guy, right? So yeah. none of us get a free pass with this stuff, I'm afraid. I don't think.
That's true.
But I don't know, but you're obviously from a relatively traditional background. I mean, have you got any prescription for like a longer term relationship, like how to keep it? I mean, would you be somebody like, right now I'm in it, fuck it, we're doing this for life and whatever, or what's your thinking about that?
I mean, that's really my sort of, I mean, that's my ultimate goal. But I mean, I'm single because I am looking for something very specific, and it is essentially what we're talking about. It's the one with the whole package. And a lot of women are in the same boat. They are also searching for the guy with the whole package. And what's happening is people, we're getting approached by men who perhaps lack things, and we're thinking, well, we don't want to settle. So for me, yes, I want the happy ending. I want the forever love, grow old together. But it's about doing that with the right person. And unfortunately, I just haven't come across someone who, yes, he has the dominance. You know, he has obviously the financial side of things, but also he's like emotionally intelligent, or he actually has substance. You know, it's not the surface level with him, because most of these men that have the money, unfortunately, they get so used to just being able to give money to women and just not really have to do much. And so you get them ones as well, where it's like, you have the money and you're just very controlling, but then what about the other stuff that I need? Because I need you to be able to have conversations with me that are like stimulating, like, you know, it's things like that. So yeah, you could say that, I guess. Yeah.
So it's a pretty tall order, isn't it, really? I mean, would you agree? I mean, you know, some people would say, well, we should just go back to a much more traditional society, or we should just have arranged marriages, and, you know, because women's expectations are now too high. I think actually, look, to be fair, I think there's two things happening here. I think that women's expectations are very high now. I think the bar is very high, and that you could say, well, that's unfair or that's unfortunate for guys. But I also think that guys are also often not stepping up to the plate sufficiently. And I don't want to put all the blame on guys, but like sometimes you'll look at a guy's dating profile because he'll send it to me and I'm like, that's fucking shit. Like, why do you expect any woman to want to fucking date you, let alone have sex with you, if that's what you're putting out into the world? Yeah. They don't have the riz, they don't have the energy, they don't have the drive, all of that stuff. So I think there's kind of, women's expectations are high, but also a lot of men, I think they're not really stepping up to the plate sufficiently either. And you've got to really max it out, haven't you? If you're going to sit there and go, oh, the dating marketplace is fucked, and complain about it. It's like, but have you really maxed out in all areas yet? You know?
I think people lack. I think people lack the ability to take accountability these days. I think nobody really wants to take accountability. Everyone's kind of a bit delulu. You know, we're all a bit delulu these days. We're all like, well, it's not me. You know, I'm not the toxic one. I'm not the problem. But really, everybody kind of, you know, if we want to fix these issues in dating, we all need to take accountability. We need to start within. And the men specifically need to get rid of this idea that, oh, I don't believe in therapy. I don't believe in, you know, all this stuff and trauma work and all this. But a lot of men, the reality is a lot of men are carrying a lot of trauma and just these rooted unresolved issues in their lives, but they think that they just go to the gym and they'll be fine.
Well, that's the manosphere message, isn't it? Basically, just lift, bro.
So I think on both sides, men and women, we need to be actively trying to work on ourselves. I love a man who's on a healing journey right now. I respect that.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you think, though? I mean, what is the best dating advice for women, though? Because I've tried to sort of like give dating. Like the problem with women is effectively often it comes down to, well, maybe lower your standards a bit. But I just don't see that being like I can understand why a woman is not going to want to do that, because you could say, well, look, not to you, but I'm just saying to some random woman in the street. She's like, oh yeah, I want this dude, and he has to have all these things, blah blah blah. And you could say, well, look, and this is actually what Fresh and Fit will often do on their podcast. They'll sort of say, well, like, realistically, that's actually a very small proportion of the population. Do you really qualify for that? And there is this thing of like, well, you need to lower your standards. But is a woman ever going to do that? Like, and why would she want to? That seems like unrealistic as well. Why would she want to shack up with somebody that she's just not that into,
Yeah. Well, that's the I don't feel like I have the answer, because every woman is so different. Because for me personally, I don't, settling is not an option for me.
No.
Because I feel like I did that in the past, and I'm obviously single. I just ended a relationship because I refused to settle.
Right.
Although the money and, he took care of me, there were things that were lacking.
And we talked about this the other night, but did you want to say a little bit the kinds of things we're talking about that were lacking?
Yeah, it's pretty much just basically the stuff that we've been talking about this whole time. It's the energy, it's the, setting strong boundaries, not letting people walk all over you. Really kind of fixing the people-pleasing tendencies that a lot of men have these days.
Yeah. Did you feel like, without getting into details, but did you feel like he was a bit too beholden to some of the people around him? Because when you talk about people-pleasing, not just you, but like maybe to his associates or friends and stuff as well, right? Okay.
Yes, okay. The people around him. And that was very frustrating for me. And at times it used to make me very angry. Because I wanted to see him I wanted him to be the alpha male. I wanted him to be the leader of the group. And I know that sounds really shallow.
Yeah.
But when looking at a man that I am going to spend the rest of my life with, this behavior was very important for me. I needed to see that he could lead.
Right, yeah.
That he's not consoling with his friends all the time, or it's things like just trying to keep everyone happy. But what about you? Are you happy?
Yeah, it's a really interesting point, and it's one I think that gets overlooked a lot. Is it's not just about how he acts with you, but it's also how he acts in the social group. And I mean, would you agree? I've spoken to other women about this, that if a guy is able to sort of command attention within the social group, that is also attractive, right? Like other men, basically, or other people around him.
Yes, that is very attractive, because women, essentially what women look for in a group of men is the one that can protect. And the one that looks like, everybody here respects him.
So how important carry on.
When you're the follower, or you're sort of consoling with your friends, or you look weak. And women can feel that weak energy, and we're repulsed by it, because we're like, okay, this guy is not going to be able to be the man that I need him to be. And that's very unattractive to women.
Yeah. Okay. So, and is that why this light switch effect can happen sometimes, where a woman's kind of into you and then suddenly she might lose attraction, and it might be something like that, where she's seen a side of you and she's like, oh fuck, actually, this isn't for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Look, essentially, it all comes down to, are you respected by people, or are you the one running after people? Are you the one seeking male validation? Because a lot of men seek male validation. They want to be liked by other men.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, it does. how important is looks then? Or let's say looks, height, physique. Is that, like, on the scale of things, how significant is that, would you say?
I mean, look, there always needs to be a certain level of attraction for something to. But I would say when we're kind of looking towards like long-term commitment and marriage, one thing I will say about women is that we are willing to settle a lot more.
For the look side of things. Yeah.
Yes. If you can, providing you can provide the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I know a lot of, very beautiful, attractive women who have married men who are, let's say, unconventionally
not great looking, but yeah.
Not great looking.
Yeah.
Not great looking. But he does everything else, and he has the energy. He has, he commands respect. He has all these other things, and guess what? She respects him. So women are going to.
Yeah, I also think actually even in more like short-term dating scenarios, I kind of think the leeway for looks is a bit lower for guys, actually. I think if you could bring the other stuff, and I'm not saying just take her to expensive places necessarily, but you might be doing a bit of that. You might be showing her a good time. If you've also got that energy and everything else, I think the looks, I think men can probably get away with it somewhat more than women, perhaps. And there's a lot of people on the internet who would disagree. They're like, no, it's all about looks. It's all about, and I don't, that's not been my experience. That's not what I've observed.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we've been on for nearly an hour now, so I don't know if you probably.
It's interesting. I am going to have to go because I've got to go have my lunch. But
fair enough. Well, there's one last super chat. He says, "Marriage causes divorces. If 10% of men are high value men, are 90% of women in trouble?" Possibly, yeah. But I mean, I think in the end, I think people make compromises, don't they? And it is what it is, really. But it's just, I don't know. It's been a really fascinating conversation anyway. I mean, there's a lot of nuances here, and hopefully we can pick this up again at some point.
And people, and the thing is with people, they have things that they're willing to overlook. Okay, so for example, if I come across the guy who is, okay, fine, he is high value, he does make good money, he does have boundaries, but let's say, he lacks something. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. Something different. I might overlook that. Because I'm like, okay, he's still got the other things, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think there's always sort of a bit of a compromise, and I don't know, but things are tricky out there at the moment, and it's good to talk about this stuff.
It's hard out there, guys.
Is it hard for women though? Because people would say, well, you're an attractive woman. You've got it. You're playing on easy mode. You haven't got a problem. What are you talking about? But what would you say from the female perspective?
It's hard out there for everyone. It's really hard. But for women, the reason why it's hard is because women now have very high standards. So they want different things. They strive for better.
Yeah.
And they are leveling up. Women are really leveling up. They're having this glow up. They are, they work on themselves. And because of that, you become this thing called triple threat, right? Or you make money, you're independent as a woman, you're making good money, you look after yourself, you're attractive, you're smart. So it's like, it's too much sometimes. And therefore the men get very intimidated and sometimes would not pursue you.
Yeah.
Happening to a lot of women right now. They're like, well, I'm beautiful, I'm successful, I'm this, I'm that, but I'm not getting approached. So that's a problem that we're facing right now with a lot of women.
Yeah,
so they're like, what do you do?
Yeah, well, someone here's gone, give over, lol. You get to pick. We have to be picked as a guy. I mean, that's true, but I mean, the problem is if you're being picked, but you're being picked by dudes that you're not into, then that's not so much of an advantage. I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it?
Exactly.
I can see it from both sides, really.
Yeah.
We are all operating on biology, and you can't change your innate biology for the things that you desire. That's the fucking problem, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But anyway, listen, Sukaina, thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome. And hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Thank you.